Hello and welcome back again to Monza. In this one, I had very little time this day to race. Basically, I could get one in, so I looked for a lobby that's that was just about to end the qualifying, so I could dive straight into the race. And that means automatically I start from the back, but I don't mind that at all. So here we go. Um, it's a beginner lobby on Monza, so expect the worst. And just try and be safe on lap 1 especially. So yeah, we start the race. I noticed that there were a few people who dropped from the front all the way to the back. I was a bit worried about them, and then I see this car in front here. Okay, Sam starts weaving just because I guess they wanted to make sure they're not overtaken going into turn 1. Shows super poor driving standards, so I was already wary of them while still monitoring behind because I figured it might be just crashers there, but it seems quite okay actually. Coming out of the first chicane, I'm still alive, didn't touch anyone. There was someone going for an overtake on my left, but then the BMW in front left was quite slow, so I just kind of used them as a doorstop. Make sure not to leave a gap between us where someone could think to go 3 wide. And that leads me safely to the second chicane, where the Sam crashes into someone. There's no real room to go around it because the BMW made a comeback and tried to dive me, so I don't have any room but to just skip the chicane. So here, reviewing turn 1, I'm very safe. The Ferrari, the red one, alongside me, is a bit faster, but so I make sure to use the BMW there, so they are stuck behind and I have a clean getaway. I think that's completely fine for me to do. It just seems like good, simple racecraft, I guess. So going into the second chicane, I'm pretty safe. I had to brake a bit early, and this Beamer thinks a move is on from super far back, but then they just crash into the green Porsche, and I'm away safely again with no contact. Now, Sam is behind me, but they immediately lose it in Lesmos 1, which is no big surprise because we had witnessed their driving standards already with weaving on the start-finish line straight. So I'm looking more in front of me, and Mohetti has a poor exit out of Lesmos 2, so I'm going for overtake. And if you've seen my previous video, this is a bit quite similar to the situation with Ria, so I'm very worried and just monitoring heavily. They go for a dive into Ascari, and I should have just stayed on the brakes a bit longer and gone for the switch back, but in any case I saw it coming and I make sure not to steer into them at least, so I dodged their shenanigans. There's another one parking up on the side of the road, have to dodge them as well. And then IF comes through because they were less hampered by all of it. So here, Mohetti, you can see, didn't use the space on exit well at all. So they are slow. I go for the overtake. Here I am frantically looking to my left to see if they're gonna pit maneuver me. They do come close right as I'm about to go fully past, but I think they're just trying to get a better entry into this corner. They still mess it up, so I just stay away from them, and they mess it up further mid and exit corner. I just about managed to avoid a crash there. And then here on the right, the white McLaren also avoided, not as difficult. But if wasn't hampered, so they come past. And behind me, Basilio was in fact also hampered by especially, who was it again? The first one, Mohetti. So at least they're still behind me. So plan here, try to go for an overtake on IF and watch behind for Basilio, because they are close enough that they could come into play very soon. So heading for T1, maybe I could have thrown a dummy here. I was quite far back, but just to put a bit of pressure, I could have made a move to the inside before going back to the outside and just taking the normal braking route. On exit, I'm a bit slow. There was a car spun out, so I just take it a tad bit easy, and this gives the opportunity to IF to pull away a little bit. Giving chase again, still similar situation behind with Basilio there. Not close enough to go for anything into the second chicane, so I just do my own thing there. IF doesn't have the greatest chicane, so I come a bit closer. Lesmos 1, no big drama. Lesmos 2, I cut the mid corner a bit better, and we both have a good exit, so I'm a bit closer, but not by a huge amount. And behind, it seems that Basilio was overtaken by PX Ref, and this guy I knew from the qualifying. I looked at the timetable, and he had done a 1:48 point something, so he's definitely a lot more pace than me. Ascari, we see IF mess it up, so I passed them. Then the other one, forget who it was. But anyway, I passed another car there as well. So this puts me P6 now. But as I was saying, PX Ref was pretty fast, had a lot more pace than me. I knew from qualifying and then throughout the race. And in fact, he was the car that, or one of them, that dropped all the way to the back. So there was a gaggle of Ferraris that did this. They were quite out in front. PX was P1 at the start, but they just dropped all the way to the back and were doing a last to first kind of challenge, I guess. So I figured they would be closing up soon. I wasn't planning on just letting them by, but I knew I wouldn't gain anything from putting up too much of a fight with him. I would just lose time compared to cars that I can actually maybe overtake, or that would maybe try to overtake me and I could properly fight. So heading into turn 1 of the lap, they come very close already, and they have to bail out a bit. Coming into the second chicane, they're not close enough to make a move, but they're again closing in. And then here, coming into Lesmos 1, I mess up, I go wide, I don't hit the apex, which slows me down a lot on the exit, and they see their chance and they make the move. I just give them the room here. They have to keep it quite tight to make the pass, so I immediately go behind and prioritize my exit, so I managed to stick quite closely. We pass another car who is crashed out. I think that was Bogdanov. Again, I was worried that they would veer left suddenly, but no drama there either. So now I have Peter X in front, and Basilio is again right behind me with a bit of time I lost when XE did the overtake. So I know I'm not gonna be re-overtaking on Peter, so I'm looking mostly at Basilio. Unfortunately, in the last corner, Parabolica, I come in a bit too hot. I drift wide too early, which means I can't get on the throttle as fast as usual. So this gives Basilio a good run on me, and they come alongside on the main straight. I squeeze them to the inside of what's gonna be the inside of turn 1, and then right as I enter the braking zone, I go left, so I have maximized my space for braking. Here, I'm fully alongside and they don't leave me space, so I'm pushed onto the sausage curbs. I'm well aware of what's about to happen, but I just hold my position as I feel I'm entitled to. So this leaves them basically screwed, but I think it's on them, not on me. So if we look at the replay, yeah, I think I have a bit better straight line speed, so even though they start passing me at the start of the straight, I just can hang on the alongside going into the braking. So here, squeezing them a bit and then moving as late as possible to do my braking on the outside of the track. Here I'm fully entitled to space, and yeah, so now I know what's about to happen. I'm going to be lifted on this sausage curb. I know I'm going to crash into them, but it's their fault. I'm entitled to my space there, so I just roll with it, and they're screwed, not me. So I have no regrets. Except maybe the IF passed me because of it, because it loses me still time as well, but it's not a big deal. So now I'm P7 and I've got IF in front, so next up I'm hoping to overtake them. The second chicane goes without a hitch. Both of us are through safely. And then Lesmos 1, I got the apex a little bit better than them, the curb, but I don't carry through the exit, so they drive away from me a little bit. A bit similar also in Lesmos 2, but I'm still in about the 1 second range, so nothing's lost either. So I'm coming up to Ascari. both IF and me are catching up heavily to this. Kubela is a bit out of control. They are swerving quite a bit, and EF looks to make a move. I think Kubela recovered just in time to stay ahead going to Parabolica, and I managed to come a lot closer, and it seems IF braked a little too fast and then drifted a bit wide, or too late, so I go for the overtake right there and then. Heading to the main straight, I'm worried about giving them a tow, so I stay more on the right side, but then I was worried that they would still have a better straight line speed, so I move left. After all, I do my typical defensive move of not leaving just about not one car's width on the outside, and then right before the braking zone moving left to optimize my space usage. But yeah, let's look at the replay here. So coming up to Ascari, I come pretty close, or I'm pretty close behind, and Kubela was losing a lot of time, and unfortunately for IF, they caught up with them mid-chicane, so they have to slow down a bit themselves, allowing me to come even closer. Then heading to Parabolica, we're all on the outside of the track, and I think IF was maybe distracted by Kubela, or so misjudged their braking points. Both of them go quite wide, hampering their going on the throttle, so I just have an easy pass on IF. And here I'm not looking to not give it though, but then making sure to move over in time so that they're not alongside yet and would get the better run on T1. Here I'm making sure to squeeze them to the inside before the braking zone, and then right as we're about to enter it, I move to the left, as does IF. So he just follows me through the chicane, and that's the move done without further dramatics. Next up, I'm looking to put a move on Kubela. And here we go, pretty clean pass. So just outbrake them coming into the chicane and get the job done. So yeah, on the replay we see the same thing. Basically they're a bit slow in Curva Grande. I already come alongside, they're again swerving a little bit, and they try to squeeze me to the inside of the upcoming turn, but we bang doors a bit and I claim my space, which I think is just rubbing his racing. And then I outbrake them into the chicane and get the move finished. IF tries to go along with it, and they were entitled to space here in Lesmos 1, but Kubela just bangs them and keeps their position. Lesmos 2, again, IF maybe could have had a run on him afterwards, but they don't use the exit space, and yeah, positions are held. So I'm now P6, or no, P5, Kubela P6, and IF P7. So I'm on my merry way, checking a bit behind, but I see that I immediately start gapping them, which it wasn't a big surprise, because I do think that Kubela was showing signs of not being a very great driver. Not that I am a great driver, but I figure from what I saw that I'm just a bit better than them. So I'm looking to get some clean laps in now if I can drive away from them. And I'm not sure at this point if I'm faster necessarily than IF, but they are at least held up by Kubela, so I can just do my own thing. I start looking in front instead, actually, and there I looked this up. I think their name is pronounced Mishenko. So I noticed that they do a 152.6. I was monitoring lap times there. And I myself did a 151.2. So yeah, catching up nicely. Also my personal best in this race. It's not a great personal best for the race, but it's fine. So I'm hoping, even though there's less than 10 minutes left, that I can still catch up to Mishenko. Thinking about the lap times though, I'm gonna need a bit more than what I got there. So either I need to go a bit faster, which I should have room to do. I can do at least 150s normally quite consistently. And alternatively, of course, Mishenko can mess up and I can close the gap that way. But yeah, for all I can do is focus on my own laps here, so that's what I'm doing, and I have a pretty good improvement on my delta here. Something I didn't notice during the race, but actually my tire pressures are awful. They're too high. So that's something I need to look into. I guess I'll check my setup next time around. But anyway, I'm up half a second on my delta, so putting the plan to action. In the meantime, if you look behind, I have got the overtake on Kubela. It seems that Basilio overtook both of them, so Basilio is making a comeback. But they're still quite a ways behind. Pretty nice chicane there, good usage on the exit space for me. So I maintain my improvement on my delta. I guess on my previous best lap I had already done a pretty good Ascari chicane because I gained my time on this lap in the first two chicanes. So I'm looking in front, and Mishenko, instead of making a mistake and going slower, they actually improved a lot this lap, so they did a 151.1, but I did a 150.7, so the same thing applies as previous lap. I still need to do a bit better if I'm hoping to catch them by the end of the race, and also it of course helps if they mess up. I knew into the first chicane there was still a bit of room for improvement, and I do find it here, so 0.3 of a second gained. Not to say I'm sure there's a lot of room of improvement on all of my cornering, but for me personally at least, I knew I could still do better. Oh yeah, I didn't mention it now, but I was also checking behind and I saw that Basilio I think did a 149 or something, maybe 148 even. So I knew that they were coming up quite fast and I would have a tough time defending. However, I was hoping to keep them at bay long enough that they could only start attempting to overtake towards the very end of the race, and hopefully I could then put up defense long enough to not lose a position to them. Mishenko does end up messing up. I think it was in Lesmos 2. I saw it in the replay, but I didn't create a clip. So I'm gaining on them. This car here on the left was Mohetti from early in the race, but no obstruction there. It was pretty close though. I felt a bit iffy about cutting into the Ascari chicane, but they were so slow that I thought it would be okay, and in the end it was. And so yeah, going towards the end of this lap, I again improved my personal best time by about 3 or let's say 0.2 of a second because I lose a bit in the last corner. And so Mishenko did mess up heavily actually. They have a 154.5 while I have a 150.5, so very good time gain there. Basilio behind is a 149.9, so he's gaining on me about half a second. And I was looking at these things and yeah, I missed my braking point. I tried not to gain time through cutting the chicane. So I weave through the little blocks. I do end up hitting the last one, and I guess I did gain a bit of time, but judging by my delta, actually I just gained it before getting on the throttle, and since I got on the throttle later, I lose everything I gained on the straight after, so I think it's okay. It's just, yeah, the game has to judge it somewhere and does it right after the chicane, so I did get my warning for cutting track limits and gaining time, even though ultimately it was pretty much a wash. But so Mishenko is not doing much better than before, so I am getting pretty close behind and maintaining somewhat of a gap behind me on Basilio. Ascari chicane, I noticed that Mishenko didn't cut the first curb nearly enough. So I'm gaining a bit there, and I actually gained time throughout the whole chicane. Especially on the exit, I really used the space very nicely there. It was very tight for track limits, but I didn't actually cut them. So now in Parabolica, I'm pretty close behind Mishenko, and I'm hoping I can start working on an overtaking the upcoming lap. So my lap, alright, maybe I did cut, oh no, I cut the track limits in the first chicane through, so I do a 150.7, but it doesn't count as my personal best in the race. Here it was a bit strange, so Mishenko was taking a very defensive position there, even though I was nowhere near close enough. but it messes up their chicane. They're very slow going into it, especially. Their exit is fine, but it allowed me to come much closer than I was before it. So I don't mind it too much, just thought it was a bit funny that they start defending so early. And I thought maybe this could work in my advantage, if that's something they casually do. They just, I guess, feel the pressure in the second chicane and they go wide. I was slightly worried that they would do an unsafe rejoin and hit me, but I played just about safe enough and managed to get the pass. While that was happening, I thought Basilio would be more hampered by then, but then in the replay I saw that they got a clean pass as well, so I was surprised during the race how fast he came back, but made sense then afterwards. I was a bit distracted in Lesmos 1 and 2, especially in Lesmos 2, so I lose some time there, and Basilio is starting to come very close behind. So with presumably one lap to go after this one, I'm now worried about them. In the middle of the Ascari chicane, they just bumped me out of the way, and a pretty nasty move, to be honest. Yeah, nothing to do but recover and get back on my way. Yeah. So in a replay, we can see that my entry to the chicane wasn't great, so I figured I can just park it on the apex here and prioritize my exit so that they can't overtake me, but they just bump into me, ram me out of the way, and they're on their merry way. So yeah, it is what it is. I'm now P7, and I have in front of me IF again and Mishenko, and then Basilio in P4, so they got away with it. I figured this was during the race actually, so in lap 4, I believe it was, Mishenko tried to do an overtake on me into the first chicane, and it was them that basically left me no space, and I then had to go on the sausage curbs to maintain position and barge them out of the way. I think that was fully their mistake, but already during the race I was thinking that I didn't make friends with that, and I was expecting that maybe Basilio would try to pay it back later, and well, I mean, to my eyes they were fully at fault in the first incident, and the payback wasn't deserved at all, but they get it anyway. Life's not always fair. So yeah, nothing to do but carry on. I'm hoping at least, I know that IF isn't the most consistent driver, so maybe I can get it back on them. And indeed, both Mishenko and IF crash out, so I'm back in front. My hopes of getting them back was actually quite low, since it was the last lap, of course, but yeah, anyway, this puts me back to P5. I didn't mind so much the other 3 cars in front, but Basilio stung a little bit. After the race, I complimented them a bit sarcastically, or quite sarcastically, on their overtake. I said, "Nice overtake, Basilio. I saw that you gave it your best," which was more meant as an insult because it wasn't good at all. And they said, "Watch the replay." So we have watched the replay, and I judged them to be a donkey, because I think he just made 2 mistakes. Made the first mistake, lost because of it, was pissed because of it, and made the second mistake as a follow-up. I was tracking where they parked it up right after the race, and as kind of a statement, I crashed into them as hard as I could, which of course doesn't do anything because the race is already over. But no, to be honest, I just had a slight bit of fun with that. All in all, I was very happy actually with this race. I thought it was good fun, and yeah, pretty happy with the moves I made. A bit soured by Basilio doing their thing, but yeah, whatever, dude. Enjoy racing like that. Anyway, thank you for watching. Catch you on the next one. Goodbye.